マックス・マンシーとムーキー・ベッツが大谷翔平とラッシングの出来事をチームメイトだからこそ知る内側の視点から解説、現場の空気感や当事者だからこそ語れるエピソードを交えながら2人の関係性や舞台裏を興味深く語っています。外からでは決してわからないチーム内のリアルな様子が伝わる。さらに大谷翔平がマウンドに立っているキラーっぷりや普段のニコタニと呼ばれる穏やかな笑顔とのギャップ、そんな二面性についても2人が興味深く語っています。また山本由伸の卓越した体幹の強さについても惜しみない称賛を送り、その凄さを自身の視点から解説、非常に見応えのあるチームメイトならではのコメントとなっています。
And I also want to talk about Rush a little bit. I know Rush, it's a lot for him. Seeing Smitty not there, I think I in specific took for granted how much he carried for us, especially on the pitching side. And now seeing Rush kind of going through it and seeing like how hard it is for him and how he's stepping up, and he's doing his best. Like he needs experience, right? And this is his experience, and I feel like he's learning on the fly. He is getting better. He's getting better, and it takes a little time, right? But seeing not having Smitty and seeing what he did for the pitching staff on top of hitting makes me really appreciate. Wow, Will Smith really does do a lot for us, and now having Rush trying to step in and do that, that's really hard for him, especially being a rookie.
Yeah, well, let's start by saying Rush is doing an amazing job.
He's doing an amazing job.
He's doing an amazing job. But like you said, it does make you appreciate exactly what Will does.
Mm-hmm.
And, Will was the same when he was at that stage.
Yep, exactly.
Will had to learn.
Yep.
And, Will had to learn with Kirsch,
which is much tougher.
A little bit tougher, I mean, and I think, but I also think that's one of the things that was good for Will. And I think, you look at what Rush is doing with Shohei and with Yama, like it's good for him to understand. And, we talk about this in the infield all the time, like why we call in certain pitches in these situations. And, not that we're second guessing anybody, but you start getting this feel for the game that I think Rush is still learning. Sometimes it's okay to get away from what the sheet is telling you to call. And that was the thing that I think Will learned with Kirsch a lot, because, what's Kirsch throwing? He's throwing a fastball slider, and it's going to be into a right-handed batter.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's a lot of times when Will would look at the sheet and be like, well, we can't throw a slider to this guy. He hits it. And it's like, that's what Kirsch is going to throw. Mm-hmm. That's his best pitch. Mm-hmm. He needs to throw it. And I think that helped Will learn. Sometimes it's okay to go off script and, do things that maybe the data says is not what you should do. And I think, that's one thing that we would agree Rush is learning, especially with Shohei. Shohei wants to throw certain pitches in certain locations, and maybe the data says that's not the best thing to do. But, when the pitcher is convicted in doing that, you have to go off what the pitcher wants, especially when it's a guy like Shohei, Yama,
I mean, really, everybody in our staff.
Yeah.
At some point, he'll be, when Snell and all these guys get back, like he'll be catching those guys.
Yeah, and
as well.
There's times where, hey, that's probably not the pitch you should throw, but that's what the pitcher really wants to throw, and so you got to let him do it, and you got to make sure you're behind him. And I think that's one of the things that Rush is learning, and it's it does make you appreciate Will, because Will's grown so much in that aspect of it that there's no second guessing what he's calling back there, and the pitchers have given full trust to Will, and I feel like Will's hardly ever shaken off. Like it's very few times, and you would go to Will. One of the things I love when Yama's pitching, and I know you've seen this. Yama goes to his pitch comm, right? Mm-hmm. And he'll call a pitch, and he looks at Will, and he's like, he wants to make sure Will thinks it's a good pitch to throw. And then that's where Will's like, if that's what you want to throw, then yes.
Yeah.
Like that's
for sure.
That's the best pitch you should throw.
For sure. I knew, and then I know I want to speak a little bit about the situation in Minnesota with Rush and Shohei. Obviously, we all, everybody kind of saw it. That was really kind of I feel like a huge moment for Rush there. When they go down and whatnot, we got to go down and look at me and you down there. We just being nosy.
Nosy. Wait, what y'all doing down there?
Yeah, that's what I was being nosy, man. I was really just kind of seeing how this is gonna play out. Like what was possibly gonna be said
I think it was a good growing moment. You know?
For sure. For sure.
You know, obviously you don't want any of that to happen with your teammates, but I think it's a good growing moment for both guys because you know, Show's not always going to be able to throw to Will,
Right.
And you know, for Rush, he's got to learn that and this is one of those moments where it was like, hey, sometimes Show wants to throw a pitch that maybe isn't the best pitch to throw, and I think that's what Rush was kind of learning in that moment. And you know, sometimes things can speed up during the game, and I think that's a little bit what happened there. And again, like we've said before, that's experience that you learn how to deal with that the more you've been in those types of situations.
And what I really enjoyed was like how Rush later on took accountability, and he knows that he has a lot on his plate. Hey, he really knows it.
You're the catcher for a staff that's, you know, first in baseball in a lot of categories. So you know, that's a lot on your plate, and he's done an amazing job handling it.
He's done a great job handling it, and I think you know, he'll just keep learning. He'll just keep learning, and then as Smitty comes back, I'm sure he'll learn even quicker. You know,
look, not one of us knew how to handle that situation at that stage.
No, we all had to learn. Yeah, everybody does.
I mean, how many times were you peeking around the corner and I was breaking a bat down in the tunnel or something? You know,
which I love, by the way. I love that.
But you know, like we've all been there. You have to learn, you have to grow, and you can't do that until you've experienced it. And you know, sure. that's what he's going through now.
Yeah, exactly. I want to talk a little bit about Shohei, Yoshi, how they've been doing this year, pitching wise, and really you can throw Robo in there as well. Yeah. They've really, every 5 days from my perspective, when one of them take the mound, it's like, I'm not saying it's a guaranteed win, but I am saying like if we can just figure out a way to score like 4 or 5, 3, 4, that gives us a real chance at it. And really seeing Shohei this year, his mindset on pitching is really neat for me. What about for you?
It's been really fun to watch, and you know, I think you would agree with this statement that Shohei likes to hit, but he loves to pitch.
I think he loves to pitch, yeah.
Like he loves everything about pitching. He likes working at it. He likes talking about it. He likes scouting for it. You know, when it comes to hitting, you know, I always laugh at our hitters meetings. Middle.
Yeah, Shohei, yeah, because
like,
he does it.
Hey, what are you looking for today? Middle.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, hitting just comes easy to him. Yeah. He just does it.
Which is crazy to say.
Yeah,
that's
but pitching,
crazy to say.
Pitching, you see him out there every single day doing bullpens and working on his mechanics and working on throwing. And it's like the amount of work he puts in at pitching, I almost feel like if he did that for hitting, he'd be, you know, he'd be Ted Williams out there with the 400 average and 60 home runs. But, you know, it's just, it's just insane to watch him do what he does every single day.
What's cool is to see, like, well, for me, it's to see like the personality difference.
Yeah,
like when he hits, he's just a normal guy. You can talk to him.
It's happy-go-lucky.
But when he pitches, it's like it's
a killer.
Yeah, he turns into a killer out there.
Yeah, man. There's don't talk to him. You know, don't get in his way. Don't mess him up.
Yeah,
let him do his thing. Make the plays behind him, but don't goof off around him.
Yeah. He don't like none of that.
Dead serious, but then when he's hitting, he's goofing off around everybody. You know, and so
it's like it's just weird to see. But I mean, hey, I guess it is what it is. And then Yoshi, obviously, as much as he pitched last year, right? I think he was healthy all year last year.
Yeah.
Then pitched what he did in the postseason, and then to now come around and do what he's doing now, it's like. I don't think I've ever seen anybody stay healthy and be as good for this long.
I agree, but I'm also not surprised when I see what he does every single day.
Yeah, that's fair.
You know,
if you saw his routine,
doing handstands, breathing through the straws, the stuff that Sensei got him doing. Which you've been doing some of that too.
I have been doing some Sensei.
Yeah,
I have been doing some Sensei.
We saw him on your shoulders in spring training. You know, we all loved that one. That was great.
Yeah, that was good. I feel like Sensei, he's awesome, man. He's done amazing for Yoshi. So I'm trying to do it to help me stay healthy a little bit.
You know, when you look at Yoshi, there's not the amount of work is second to none. but almost none of it is like weightlifting stuff.
No, it's none of it.
That's what's crazy about it is all the stuff that Sensei has him doing. It's all balance and you know, core.
It's like finding your inner like your inner core muscles and like really using your body.
And that's the thing that's insane is he's putting in more work than anybody, and none of it involves touching a weight.
Yeah, which is, I mean, hey, good for him. And then obviously Robo, I think for like seeing Robo last year coming out of the bullpen, he did great.
Yeah,
he when he piggybacked, he did great. When he come in for one inning, he did great. And then now seeing him as a starter, I wasn't fully sure. I'm not saying anything negative, but I was like, I don't know how he'll be as a starter. And this dude has been awesome.
For me, I think he had to find a way to translate his mindset from coming out of the pen to being a starter. Because his mindset coming out of the pen is what you're seeing right now, the way he pitches right now. But before that, when he was a starter, I don't think his mindset was the same because, he did the thing where, the first pitch would be 92, then it'd be 92, and then there's 2 strikes, and then here's 97. And, when he came out of the pen, he was just letting it loose every single pitch. And, from what I've seen this year, that's what he's been doing right out of the gate. There's still some times where he might, take a little off here and there, save some. But from what I've seen from him, he's just had that mindset that I'm going to attack you. I'm going to attack every single batter right out of the gate. And I'm not going to let off the gas. And, he's got the stuff to be able to do that. And sometimes when you have that stuff, you have to have the mindset to back that up. And I
agree. They match.
I think that's what he's found.
He gets up. And I see him now, and I'm sure you do as well. Like, I see him study. I see him doing all the things that he needs to do to be successful prior to.
Yeah, he puts in the work.
Yeah, and now when he gets up there, you can see his confidence. You can see how much he competes. And to your point, he has the stuff to do it, match with the mindset. And so this isn't luck. I feel like this is like Robo is a really good pitcher.
Yeah, there's nothing about this that is luck. And, like you said, him putting in the work, doing the scouting and everything, like I love seeing that from like an offensive player. Because I feel like we sit there and we do so much scouting and video, looking at video about the opposing pitcher. And then I feel like they're just like, okay, all right, I'm gonna go out there and pitch. Like, it
doesn't work.
And so I love to see our pitchers put in that kind of work and do their homework on what pitch can I throw to certain guys, what zones can I attack. I like seeing the pitcher put in that kind of work, and you see the results when they do that.
Yeah, exactly. So right now, obviously we've been playing well. We got a little lead in our division, but obviously it's a long season. We have to continue to play. To play well. What do you think will help us stay consistent as we keep going?
I think if just us trying to find a way to stay healthy. I mean, look, we've been through it. 162. You're going to have your ups, you're going to have your downs, but it's easier to go through all of that when you have your guys. When you got guys filling in, and and then. Our young guys are amazing. The guys that have come up and filled the roles, they've done an amazing job. You look what Ryan Ward did for us for, a couple weeks there. Really, really good job. But when you have your guys, it just kind of makes it easier to go through those lulls, and, you don't feel you feel like you're just showing up every single day and just doing the job.
Yeah,
and
doing what you need to do.
And I think for us, just being healthy is the key to us continuing to dominate throughout the season.
I would say the exact same thing. I mean, health is wealth at this point, especially for us. I mean, because we got the guys that we got when we're healthy is, it's
top notch.
Yeah, it's top notch.
On paper, you're not beating it.
Yeah,
and it's
exactly.
But again, like you look at how many guys we got on the IL right now, and some of the starting pitching we got on the IL, and Kike and Will and all these guys, and so just it'd be nice to get them all back at once, but. At the same time, we don't need them back until October.
Yeah,
so,
which is the beauty. That's the beautiful thing about being a Dodger. So I want to talk a little bit about pursuing the three-peat. Obviously, everyone knows that. What do you think we really need to do to get there?
Man, we just keep doing the same thing we've been doing, and it's for us. Again, we show up every single day. We don't let anything carry over from previous days, except for on the bus. Everything's fair game on the bus. But like in terms of the game, we don't let anything carry over from previous days. Whether you've had 3 home runs, 3 strikeouts, 10 punch outs, no punch outs, you know, you made 3 errors, you made 3 diving plays. Like nothing carries over to the next day. You show up every single day, you do your routine, you got to work, you're 0 for 0. You got to go out there and play that game. And we do such a good job of like, that's all we focus on is, all right, what are we doing today to win this game? You know,
Today, yeah.
you know, we're facing.
最後までご視聴ありがとうございます。また次の動画でお会いしましょう。